Okay, guys, thank you for tuning in to our Bred for the Banner preview. Our first consigner breeder is Jason Butts, and he is putting the final touches on his third and fourth lots. But no further ado, I'll let Jason Butts visit about his pair of red ones.
Well, thank you, Justin. Thank you for putting on a very good event. We always enjoy coming to this deal here in Perrin. We're going to go ahead and start and talking a red gilt there. That would be ear notch 4411, which is tag 82. She is a raise the bar, which at Buyers, which is a double up back on set the curves mom. And then that one also too. Mother would be a litter mate to the champion gilt at Fort Worth, red gilt at Fort Worth, reserve red gilt at San Angelo, reserve red gilt at Perry, Georgia. Littermate's sister brings 5,300 the other night and goes to a very good home in Oklahoma. I think that one's very, very neat in terms of skull with an incredible look, foot and bone, and builds very, very good. The red male is 85. That's 46-5. That is a main character hibachi. Mother was reserve at Wisconsin a year ago. That one's got a very, very good pedigree. Main character's done a phenomenal job. I think that one there could be as good as a red male as we've probably ever brought out. I just think foot and bone, length of body, with a heck of a look, that one's going to feed. I think this is a very good pair of reds.
Yeah, I mean, just to reiterate what Jason said, that's just a nice pair. You're talking about hogs that have got a look and design and skeletal soundness, but still have the extras of bone and footwork and forearm. That's an awfully good pair. You can drive lots of miles and not see them like that are that good looking and that stout. Jason next will bring his pair of belted exotics.
The next two we drop out is tag 83 and 84. These guys are 47 litter hogs. They're a good company on Stay the Course. Good company is a boar there at Upper Hand that comes from Hilty and Sloan. The mother, Good Company, is a $95,000 Cinderella sow. Good Company is going to have a heck of a run. I think this is an awfully good pair. The Stay the Course sow is very, very good. This is her first litter. Looks to be a very, very good deal. Grandmother comes from Kilmer and Platt there a few years ago, and that's done an exceptional good job. I think the Hampshire marked one is going to feed extremely good, and then the other one would run as a dark cross, I would assume. I think that one's pretty elite.
Ben Burzloff is next. He's wrestling Yorkshires. So as soon as he gets done with his WW match, we'll talk a couple exotics and a couple red ones.
Thank you, sir. We'll start with the red ones here. Both of them, they're out of littermate sows, hibachi sows, and their sire is a boar I call Freak Deal, one we bought, really unique, kind of a red boar, heavy bone, kind of a big stout red boar there. We bought it Duncan last year at the Fall Classic. That was a class winner that Rick Whitman had. It's done a really nice job. Love the extra look that these things have, but still have stoutness of bone. Really good design kind of hogs with the right kind of feet and legs to feed all the way through. And then the two cross hogs, the all black male hog there, he's a Forgiven. Forgiven is a boar we bought from Brockman there a year ago. He would have been Saved by Grace on Next Intention's mom. And then the painted up cross gilt there, she is out of Last Minute. That's out. That's a Schwecke bred boar out at the collection, and her mother would have been deadly secret sow there. So those are the colored hogs we brought. We'll bring on the white ones. I got a mic in my hand, but you do realize that, don't you? Hank Williams. Hey, thank you, Jason Butts, for the assist here. Nice work. What do you think of that red barrel there, Jason? Pretty nice, huh? All right, we got a pair of white ones here, kind of what we've been known for throughout the years here. A papered York Gilt there. We'll talk about her first. She's got a really neat story. That's her mother's been kind of the one we built around here the last 3-4 years, and we bred that sow. She's out of a trade up. For those guys that know the purebred Yorkshires, trade up is certainly a boar that needs no introduction. We've won a lot of shows with that one. That particular one is a repeat mating to some 7-litter sows we got at home, and those sows will be responsible for the Grand York Barrel last year at OYE, the Reserve York Gilt at OYE last year, the Reserve York Gilt the year before, I believe, the champion overall male pig at Duncan last year, the Reserve Barrow at the Iowa State Fair a year ago, and then her mother also raised the Reserve York Barrow this year at the Iowa State Fair. So if you're looking for a sow, definitely that one's got the pedigree to do a lot of things, but I think as a show gilt, that one's really unique, and the kind of mass that she's got, but she puts that on a really good skeleton. Really, show pig kind of a look there. Really big center body, really nice gilt. The barrow here, the Yorkshire Barrow, he's out of Ruckus, which would be the sire of the Reserve York Barrow there at Iowa this year. Really like that one. Just his extra stoutness of bone for a white one, but yet combines that with a really killer look up front. Tremendously good hind leg and really square off of both ends. I think that one's really unique. So thank you very much, Justin.
Thank you, Dan. Really nice pair of white ones for sure. Really unique group here. He brought 3 different breeds and in classification standards and a set of hogs. This set has had history. Champion middleweight Hampshire at San Antonio, a 3rd place Yorkshire there at Houston a couple years back, right here at this sale. Next, we've got Bangert Showstock. Zach brought a really neat trio, very, very uniquely built ones, and lots of mass and shape. I'll let him visit about this group.
Thank you, Justin. We'll start off with the boar pig here, the half-belted one. Just a really wide toe spread, big-footed one, stout and dense in the skeleton. One that's put together really good. It's hard to kind of pick a hole in him. To be honest, one that gets me extremely excited. The most excited I've actually been in quite a while about one. One that just, like I said, is extremely dense, big skeleton, tall at the point of his shoulder. He's got a big hip in him. Really good one right there that I think can run really hard down south here this winter. From there, we go to 2-litter make gilts. Gilts that I think are just a little more feminine in their appearance. Got enough foot and bone. Ones that'll keep coming. On the pedigree side of this trio here is Matter of Fact, which is a boar at Laird's. That's a Quite Frankly son. And then on the dam side is an Ever Before sow that's done a really good job for us the last few years. Some really good gilts. I think there are futures ahead of them. So thanks again, Justin.
Thank you, guys. And it doesn't take rocket science to see 069 right there. That is the best pig that Zach has ever brought out that I've seen He's definitely the best one he's ever come to my sale with. This one can hunt at all levels. That is a unique one. I don't care if you're hunting a boar prospect or if you're hunting a bear that can win. He's got a hip and hind leg as big and stout. If you guys are watching this thing for a boar or a big-time bear, I would definitely latch on to this one. We're going to have extreme quality in this sale, and he definitely fits in extremely well. Okay, Alley Show Pigs. I'll let this family visit. Very impressive group of pigs, and they've got a master showman that'll drive these. But I'll let Mr. Charles got his different set. He also brought a really powerful group as well. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you inviting us. We're excited. We start out here with a pair of mates. These would be heavy hitters. Back on the mate to the reserve champion middle at Denver this year. Been a anything goes, and then it gets more fun for me past that. Be anything. The king, little bro. My mic's giving me fits here. I apologize. Luke's on the male pig here. That'd be tag 47, 34-1. In terms of one that just screams stout. I mean, that dude's skull, forearm. Then you step behind him. He's got a really, really big fat hind leg. That's just a burly man. One that we're pretty proud of. I think that one could be boar, barrel. You decide. Then Luke, jump on the gilt. That'd be tag 48, 34-11. Again, heavy hitter on the top side. I'd argue so far this sale season maybe has been consistent as any on the kind of new boards there. We were glad we had some. Still working on the mic here, just a tick, but let me switch over here. Hopefully you can hear me now. It sounds better here. Again, Luke's on the gilt, tag 48, 34-11. The male pig would be 47, 34-1. We'll dump our next trio here.
Another tremendous pair, guys. Just look at the forearm and bone and stoutness, the width between their eyes. Another boar prospect, and awfully good yield to show all year, and she has the maturity to be a very, very competitive. Those heavy hitters have been probably as popular a set of pigs this fall as any I've seen.
Next, we drop a pair here of 32s. Luke's on 32-2, tag 50. That'd be the perfect belt there. These would be heavy hitters. Back on the mother is a first-time gilt. She'd be a mate to the 3rd overall at Colorado State Fair. They'd be heavy hitters. Saved by Grace, Next Intention, Little Bro. The grandma there had a mate that won about 8 jackpots for us, but the brother mate to the mama, that one was so athletic, so we just kept swinging big and bred her to heavy hitter. These things back shape, I don't know if it shows up on video, but they are just monstrous back shape with a huge round cage, really big pin set. Love these things when they come right at you, just so flat and square at the base of their chest. They're power hogs. I think you can feed them for a long time. You don't have to get in a hurry here, but that's the kind of shape. If you start with one like that, you know you'll get it when you want it. The white-legged one there he's on now, I guess in today's world we call that a real bendy hind leg, one that I think is pretty just current in terms of power. Kind of a neat pair there of brothers.
You know, that's a pair too, guys, in terms of just being fitting lots of judges a lot of places. Extremely bold cage animals that are really opened up in their chest floor and still move extremely well. Awfully interesting black bear.
This one's just a tick different to the world maybe. He'd be out of a boar named Aftermarket. Aftermarket's a tricked out, dirty south, little bro red alert. Aftermarket's mates would a Grand Market Guild at Exarban, Reserve Grand Guild at Colorado. Back on Spread the Word Red Alert sow, so that Red Alert sow's on both sides of this thing's pedigree. Love this one's comfort, leg hair, look. The way his neck comes out of the front end of his skeleton is how we'd like to draw him up every time. That's one that we can feed a little harder. I think one that just will never be messed up. You just feed him to the mass you need, and I think feet and legs is really, really good there. That is tag 51, 31-3, aftermarket, back on a Spread the Word gilt. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Tremendous set from Alley Show Pigs, Weston. Oh, Ally, okay. I've been pronouncing it long the whole time. Sorry, Ally Show Pigs. Alley Show Pigs, or Ally. Yeah. They raised some good ones, whatever their name is. Awfully good set. Our next, Ralph Hinton Livestock, traveling buddy there from Colorado, asked this pair to come down, and they definitely did not disappoint.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you having us up down. Got a pair of litter mates here. They be buckle up, never before. Their mother is kind of a key sow for us. She raised a couple of barrels that got along in Colorado Junior Swine Circuit. Another one that was at Arizona and a class winner at Cheyenne, which is a show that we just started up there a year ago. I think these guys have the extras in terms of bone and foot size and muscle. They've got everything that you'd want to compete at an extremely high level. I'd say they're not for the faint of heart. They are stout, and so ones I think that got a big feeding window because of that. But they're flexible. They're big. They have really big backs, really big bone. Pair that we like a whole bunch.
Again, just another pair of big, stout, powerful ones, guys, that move well. Really opened up. Those buckle ups have been very popular this year, and deservedly so.
Our last entry is a gilt, and to be honest with you, this one's probably a little bigger than most people sell them, but one we went back into our keeper pen and found. She'd be a buckle up, never before as well. Not a litter mate to the barrows that we have. You'd actually have to go back 2 generations to find where they're different. But a gilt that's very extended, very big-legged, very big in her feet and legs. One that I think is going to have no problems getting to those bigger weights. One that you can push and get into those heavy weights and be in the heat of it in a gilt show anywhere in the country. This one's grandmother raised the reserve at Colorado State Fair for us, as well as the champion at that Cheyenne Livestock Expo. She's kind of the foundation of our herd. So this one's pretty special to us just from a pedigree standpoint. She kind of represents probably what 80% of our sow herd is genetically. And then we swung for the fence with Buckle Up, and he brought all the bone and the stuff. I think this one's probably one notch bigger than a lot of those that you see out of that with that pedigree. So this one's got some room to go. If you're still hunting for a big gilt to show and know that she wants to be up there in the heavier weights, here she is. So thank you again for having us.
Again, just a really unique gilt, awesome pedigree, and one that you guys like him with some maturity and some age. She definitely will bring a lot to the table. Bogenreit's next. Trent Bogenreit Show Pigs. Just been on a tear in the Chester deal nationwide, coast to coast. Always enjoy having Trent come down.
Thanks, Justin, for having us. I'm thinking probably 6 years we've been doing this, multiple barns here, last few years spent here at Perrin. Always enjoyable time. Appreciate you guys and the hospitality. Run out a real nice set here, I think. Trio of male pigs. Tag 42 will be the leadoff pig. He's a Captain Obvious custom built. He'd be a litter mate to the $4,000 barrel we sold a couple weekends ago at the Coalition sale there in Ohio. That one's mother in her first litter raised the 4th overall at the Summer Spectacular there in Louisville. That barrel was 4th overall Chester at Indiana State Fair. In her first litter, good run there. I think that one's awfully neat. Big-legged and sharp-headed. Big-time pieces. I think he needs to be fed hard for a big one. Run on tag 43. Initially coming out of the chip bar, off the nursery into the chip barn, I thought that pig was going to be one of the best ones we were going to offer this fall. He got a little sick, got a little skinny, and he's just been a little greener in his muscle pattern than most. But if you just look at that one, his general build, his flexibility, his stoutness, and still sharpness ahead, I think that one you can get on, feed hard, and then go have fun with. That one's mother was a litter mate to the reserve Chester Gilt at North American there last fall, and that's just her first litter, so not a big story there. Tag 44, if you want them stout, wide, and burly and ready to roll, this guy's your man. Just a real good pig. I mean, just he's stout, wide, ready. That one's mother would have raised that reserve at Nail there last fall for us, would have raised the 5th overall Chester at Ohio State Fair, so she's made a ton of good ones for us, a lot of keeper females. Thought that was one that needed to make the trip. Again, thank Justin for bringing us. Good set.
Doug Albright Swine Farms next. Obviously, this is not. Oh, it's Trogdon's. My bad. Sorry. Eric, you can talk, Eric.
So these are Trogdon Farms consignments. The black pig will be a Ride With Me hero. Nothing to Hide. It's the first litter sow that won her class at Illinois. The Nothing to Hide sow originated from Stolequest. The belted pig here is going to be a Buckle Up, Never Before. Never Before sow is a mate to Endgame.
Trogdon's also a very good tradition here of selling hogs that win and feed, and they're arguably as hot as anybody in the industry right now, and that definitely shows hogs that have got a good look, design, power, and shape. The Ride With Me hog sold here last year from Albright. That black pig is really indicative of what that pig looked like, and just a little, even with some extras, and awfully nice pair. Appreciate the Trogdon crew bringing us a really good pair here tonight. Okay, now we do have Albright. Okay, 52 is going to be a special effect. The $140,000 boar last year, late July gilt. Even just, the picture of design and look and pattern. One that's just so good in her skeleton, so youthful up in her front end. One that really fits that San Antonio deal. They show by weight now, thank goodness. And so late July will actually be shown by a weight, and where she can actually show against hogs that weigh like her. The cheetah, he sent me a video on earlier in the week, and that is one unique booger right there. She's a trickster, the boar that Doug and Moyer's own that came from the Hamby Heaven deal. Obviously, it tricked out back on that, I believe, a littermate sister to that Dark Cross there at San Antonio a couple years ago from Hamby. Just ultra comfortable, good design hogs that have got a really, really unique look, and this hogs that they're going to feed very, very true. Okay, we've got another jet black gilt, lot 54. Actually, a Barra, excuse me, boy pig. Another special effect Barra pig or boar pig. The one that's really opened in his cage, and a big rib kind of Barra that's got a really neat look, tremendous shape, and one that can handle lots of competition and classifies well. That's a big stout mugged one that's got a lot of good to him. 54 is the that was the Barra, and then we got 56 and 55. 55 is another jet black. I believe it's a mate to that Barra, and another July born, and then 56 is another special effect. 55 right here, super good design. Another one of those big forearm kind of females later in her maturity, but man, you just gotta love how comfortable and athletic that one is. He looks 56 gilt. That's a square built one that's got a really neat look and very athletic. Maybe not as mature as a couple of the ones we've seen today, but you love her rib shape. You love her design, blade forward, and just how flexible she is. That's an awfully nice trio. Congratulations, and appreciate Doug always bringing some good ones. Okay, we have got John Mullet Farms, Mullet Show Pigs. John was not able to attend with us tonight, but he were able to get the pigs to us, and very excited about that. I'm going to get my cheat sheet here, my notes down. Okay, 19-2 is this 105 bear right here. He's a Move the Needle, and he is out of a Heimer 54 in the rough sow. I saw this one's picture, and I saw him as he unloaded and looked at him, and that is one stout structured, big skull, one that's got a look and design, a bear that still has length to hip and length to stride from behind. I just love his future in terms of being that flexible, that stout, and that powerful. That's an awfully nice one to really look at and really analyze. Okay, 106, the other bear. That's a Simple Man. It's a boar that John I know was really high on, one that he'd raised. And a Simple Man, no introduction. Mother's a $13,000 she sale purchase from Corb last year. One that I just love his extra stoutness. He's really big bone and opened up. This bear is still he is a crip, but he is still really late mature in his look. But I love the extra dimension and stoutness he has. A very impressive one. 104 is I believe that's one he is on right now. Another on his, he is a OG. All Rise. OG's the tricked out son there at Alton Weathers in Oklahoma. Mother was reserve granted a Revival in California last year. OG just started the champion bear, the Grand Bear there. He's a calico hog that just started the Grand Bear at Colorado State Fair. And I kind of see that look in that hog. The extra extension up front, extra shape and dimension to his top. Still later maturing, but very, very flexible. That's a really, really nice trio of bears. He brought 3 really nice boar pigs, bear pigs, and he also 3 real nice gilts. We will shake these around a little bit, and then we'll show you the gilts. Okay, we've got 101, 102, and 103. 101 is the 25-7 gilt. Sees the State of the Union, Nomad, and State of the Union's the Blue Boar. That is from Hilty, that John and some guys own. I believe Hilty Gray, maybe Childers owns that hog. He's a blue hog. And she's out of a Nomad sow. Mother was a $33,000 OYE purchase that raised the $23,000 boar at Kings last year. That's 101. That one's already looks pretty whip broke, and I love how you talk about hogs that run uphill. That one really defines that. Super tall fronted, got a great look, and still very flexible. I love her chest floor and the width, just the dimension up high. You really get high on this one from the side, but what seals the deal for you is when you get on top of her. There's a lot to that one. Mr. McLemore's on 102. She's an all-out a boar that is tremendously powerful. A boar that John has there and just massively powerful. On a trumpet on No Introduction Sister. And that's one that has the extra dimensions today. You're talking about one that is powerful muscled and compositionally very, very powerful. She might be one that needs to go home and just kind of cool down and get in a shade tree and some sow feed, but one that's always going to be competitive because she's got mass. She's got rib, muscle, and body, and very flexible still to be that massive. And the young lady's on 103, and another really extended gilt. She's another OG, All Rise. Her mother was reserve grand there at the Revival. I believe we had a littermate bear here earlier. Just really a futuristic kind of female. I love the design and look, and it's how flexible she is and still has that immature look. Can go lots of different places here. If you're hunting one for San Angelo, San Antonio, OYE, some of those county shows, these definitely fit the bill. John always brings the good ones. Very well received every time he comes to town. Appreciate the Mullet family getting these hogs to me, and definitely you're on our hearts and prayers right now. Awfully good set of hogs. Mr. Kimmy, Ben Kimmy, my buddy Ben Kimmy, always comes, doesn't say a whole lot, but brings good hogs. Always does. These hogs feed. Lot number 9, 10, 11. I'll let Ben talk about his entries and kind of what where he sees them.
Thank you, Justin. It's always a good time coming down here. This year it's just a little bit cooler. So we'll start with the Lot 9 belted gilt here. She is a pace car on a breaking rules. That one's dam came from, we bought her from Riggs and Thurston, I'd say 2 years ago, I'd say. Very consistent mother, always raises good pigs, feedable pigs that go out and do well. The Calico Gilt is a Game of Thrones on a no intro, back on a Kingpin. We bought that mother from Heimer out of his open house, a year and a half ago. This would be her first litter. Very, very deep litter. We sold a couple gilts online, and then we kept this one back for the sale. Really cool color pattern. I expect big things out of this litter, and this one should feed out real good. So, and then I'll bring the red bear out next.
Like Ben says, I mean, they've got the look and design. You get that one's head cranked up and on the move. That one's extremely impressive. And that Calico's got a big hind leg and got a really, really neat look. Those Heimer hogs always feed on the maternal side and make hogs better for people. And that's not an exception. Again, it's an awfully nice one.
Here's lot 11. He is a Maverick on a dealer's choice. His mother was the first time farrowing gilt. She only had 3 pigs this time due to the heat and all that. Very good barrow here. If you're feeding for San Antonio or even for a March show, I expect him to be good for either or, just depending on how you guys want to feed him. He's got a big show window, so don't be afraid to push him. Don't be afraid to hold him. Very good pig.
This is my favorite of the Kimmy trio. He's known for his red ones, and that hog's just got very few holes. He's stout, he's powerful, he's flexible, he's obviously very athletic. It's just an awfully nice one. Red 11's a good one. Job, Ben. Scotty B. Scott Behrman is back in the game. He missed us last year, I believe, and always a good time. Scott's had a really good time this weekend already. And he sent me some pictures of the spots, and I know when he sends me pictures, they're the real deal. And these hogs are just get better and stouter as they get older. I'll let Scott visit about some of the pedigrees on these.
Thank you, Justin. The spots are the first pig out of a boar we call Dutton. Dutton was out of a bred gilt that I sold to Vaughn Show Pigs out in Ohio. He called me and said, there's a boar I think that you need to take back out of this litter. And this is the first 2 that I've ever sold out of that boar. And from what I'm seeing, I like the way what he's going to do. He's got that extension up front, really, 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 really clean and length of neck. The feet and legs are really phenomenal on these hogs. They got big legs, long toes. I don't think you'd want to change a whole lot in them. I think you can pour the coals to them, do what you want. But I think these guys can play down in San Antonio and Fort Worth and Houston. But the gilt is really, I really loved her from the day we put her on the chips. And there's not a lot of changing that I would want to change in a spot female. When you got that length of hip, length of front, you can go a long way down here in the Southwest. The tag on the, Justin, what's that, 7? That's a replacement of what's on showpig.com earlier in the week. And the more this guy come on, he's a little greener yet at this stage of the game, but his massive forearm, big toes, big legs. He's got a big long hip in him. He's really tall at the point of his shoulder with extension through the front end. I think this guy could be really cool down the road. Whether you want to leave him as a boar, feed him as a barrel, you can do what you want, but I think this guy's got a lot of potential down the road. These are a pair of Yorkshire gilts. We used to be nothing but Yorkshire breeders back. A Yorkshire and a boar, a Yorkshire gilt and a Yorkshire boar. These were the first two that I've taken over here to Justin's in probably 15 years. But I was really exceptional with them. The 2-7, that tag 6, I really, really like. She's a powerhouse. She is stout, bold, big ribbed, big legs, toes are long, level topped. I think you can feed her and let her go, and I think she could be really cool over here in San Antonio. Got a good underline. The boar, I think he could be a really unbelievable barrel down here, or a boar prospect. He is so tall at the point. These Yorkshires are different than within the Yorkshire breed today. Some of them are a little shorter, compactor, not as long-hipped, not as clean through the front end. And I think that's where these can make a change in the breed. And like with this guy right here, he's so good through the hip and the hind legs, and he's got big toes and they're wide toes. And these pigs are young pigs, and I think they got a lot of potential down the road.
Thank you, Scott. Always a nice set. Always hogs that are feet on us and having a really good look.
Okay, this litter 1, this is from Bill Range Show Pigs. The litter 1 on the dam side is a full brother, full sister mating. That was a full sister to the champion Hampshire gilt at Houston. And is a full sister to the champion gilt at St. Angelo. And the herd boar Louis was sold at High Point, he sired up at High Point Genetics. And the 7s is a boar that they own called Harvey Hampshires. He is a chatter at Danger Zone time Madness boar. He's an absolute massive in his bone with huge rib with a massive big square hip and rump. The good front-ended herd boar is one that will generate better Hampshires. Tag 27 is a litter 3. That's a Top Gun, no debate. This sow is guaranteed to be one of the heaviest structured sows you'll ever find. Top Gun has sired champions all over the last couple years. And the other one is a litter 1. Tag 25. That's a litter 1. That's that Harvey Hampshires. He's a chatter times the Danger Zone times Madness boar. He is an absolute massive bone with a huge rib with a massive big square hip. As you can see, he's got the skeleton and the structure in him, and he's good fronted through the good fronted herd boar is the one that will generate better Hampshires.
We're excited when Bill sent me the when Bill sent me the pictures of these hogs, and they didn't disappoint. That's a big, stout, powerful set of pure hams. They're hard to find, and we're loaded here tonight. Awfully good set. Okay, let me find Kirk's notes on these. We've got lot 57 and 58. 57 is a Hereford gilt, obviously. She's a corn pop detour. Kirk Miller's. Yeah, Kirk Miller. Corn pop detour out of a second litter sow from Todd Michaels. Corn pop had a good run there at the summer shows, the Expo, Team Purebred, NJSA, and several of the Midwest State Fairs. I like this one, how stout she is, guys, and she's one that has the potential with our new San Antonio Hereford show. She has a chance there. We had a champion and class winners at Belton the last 2 years out of this line from Kirk Miller. 58 is the Spot Boar Pig. Excuse me. He's an Axis Tilt Daydreamer. Mother was successful jumping by the Mike's family here in Texas several years back. Very good run. He probably didn't take the trip quite as well as you can see in his middle, but that's still a big rib, opened up bear. It's really round bodied. I love his foot and bone. I love how his elevation. That's an awfully nice one. Really stout built, one that, what you see is what you get. Those hogs feed. I know I got some good reports on those bears last year. Those are just good hogs. So those hogs feed and they're honest. Big, stout, powerful one's got a good color line. It's an awfully nice barrow. Okay, we've got 59 and 60. 59's the Poland Mark Boar Pig. He is sired by Axis Tilt on a witch hunt. Sires the $13,000 boar from Belton this year that they purchased. Good young sow raised the champion, 10 times champion Poland gilt this past summer. That was champion multiple times in the top. She's also in the top 5 multiple times. Study this guy, guys. He looks like a Poland. Obviously, he's a spot or a Spolin, as I call him. But that one has lots of rib, lots of body. His skeleton's really wide and powerful. Looks like a Poland. Looks like he's going to feed like a big, stout, powerful one. One that you can just kind of take up easy, slow roll, and he can be very successful. He's one of those tweeners that can go to San Antonio in the lighter weight probably division or go to Houston and be very competitive. That's a stout booger right there, guys. Number 60 has a spot gilt early August. She's also an Axis Tilt Daydreamer. I'm sure she's probably a maid or very bred similar to the one we talked about earlier. She's had one of the older sows that's had very good success for his program. Green and immature, but her build and her design is one that I really agree with Kirk's notes there. That's one that's got a good look, very immature in her pattern and her build. But you see her body line. Let's see her top line and her shape, her depth to her rear rib and flank, still really flexible. Comes at you and leaves you wide. Very good colored, very well presented kind of gilt. That's a nice pair as well. I believe they got Mr. Siren is our longest standing person in our sale. He's been here from the get-go, the only guy that's been with me from the get-go. Mr. Siren has won them all everywhere, judges major shows. Great hog man and good person. Just a really, really good guy. His spot program, I know my dad bought a sow from him. We had lots of success. His spot program just keeps getting better and better each year. And I always appreciate what Jamie brings down.
Well, thanks, Justin. It's certainly a pleasure to be here. And Scott and I were just talking earlier how many years it's been. It's got to be getting close to 20, if not more, since we started this sale. And always been a pleasure to come down and be a part of it. And we start off our entry here with a pair of spot pigs here, 97 and 98. Tag 97 right here in front of me is going to be the female offering that we brought here to the deal. And she is out of Neptune, the rash boar we bought for $5,000 back there the year that National Barrow Show was in Des Moines from Rash there in Missouri. And then her mother is a first litter gilt I bought a year ago at Springfield from Avery Brown and Hudson there out in Indiana. And Avery talked to me there and said that sow has been just a real generator, the mother of that gilt. And I knew when I saw her at Springfield, she was a perfect match for Neptune, just his power and rib and her design and prettiness and soundness. And we couldn't be more thrilled with what this gilt laid down had. It's a first time deal. And if you're hunting a big time spot gilt to go play at the majors, I think you need to look at this 97 gilt here. I always tell Justin every year I'm bringing probably the best gilt I've ever brought, and I think this one is hands down the best one we've brought here in 20 years. The barrel behind her, 98, is a mate, of course, and he's a really good design, real flexible barrel here. I think got incredible future ahead of him. I've always concentrated on making my spots different from their blade forward, having them more length and extension there, better looking through their front end, but the biggest thing that's sorted my hogs in this breed is just feet and legs and soundness. We try to focus on that. My sows are all raised on slats in crates, and they got to live at my house. So very excited about this pair of barrows, and I think you can buy with confidence that they're going to feed and get better every day you got them on feed.
Very, very good spotted hogs, guys. You just look in the ring and study your lesson here. If you guys are hunting a foundation sow, she will be one, and they will be productive. I can tell you that firsthand.
Our next two are tags 99 and 100. They're a pair of dark cross barrows that I believe will class Hampshire in this part of the world if you want to show them in that particular division here. And we'll start off with the 99 barrel. He's the short-backed, real square, heavy-muscled barrel here of the pair. Just really heavy duty in terms of his skeleton, big-footed, heavy bone, got a super big forearm working in him. His sire is OTH, which is a snafu son we raised there at the house out of a never-before sow. And then his mother's just a young rimfire sow that's out of a Cruel Intentions son. A.J. Lewis bred the rimfire boar there. Be a rimfire curtain call on the dam of that one. And I think if you're wanting one here to go and feed all the way to Houston and kind of play down there in that scenario and setting, I think you definitely need to look at this 99 barrel here. The 100 barrel is a 4 liter barrel. He's a Bravo on a silver lining that my son showed. And it was one of his last gilts that he showed, and he said, "Dad, I don't want to show very many this summer. I just want to show good ones." And we fed this gilt and thought we had a shot at to win our gilt show at our state fair. And about 5 days before we left, she cracked the pad, and we super glued it. And Jeremy Cantrell judged him that day, and we took her and showed her, and she got 5th in class. And he said, "We've all been there and got one this close and injured her at the end, but I seriously think she would have pushed to win our commercial gilt show there at Iowa the year that we showed her." And she's been a really good sow. This would be her 3rd litter, and we've kept multiple daughters out of her, and she just generates this kind time and time again. And if you think that one's skinny and green, I guarantee you that mother looks like a market gilt at 500 pounds. I mean, she's got plenty of shape and plenty of muscle, and he's just got such an impeccable running gear. I don't think you can go wrong on this lot 100 barrel. So both of them will run Hampshire. I think they're both small enough you can feed them clear to Houston and get along quite well there.
Extremely impressive pair of guys, and very versatile. That 99 could get in somebody's way big time, and if you like to feed hogs that can push and go, and they're running gears and skeletons stay in them, and you like to pound to them, that's one that can do. That's an awfully good pair. Again, Jamie's been with me a long time. Great guy to deal with. These hogs are honest and they feed well. There's lots of hogs at the Sarin Ranch, and so not a lot of extra duty there. Just an awfully good set of hogs to feed. Wyatt Nelson representing Nelson Rushing. Another good young man that's been with me several years now, and I really enjoy Wyatt. Just a really kind young man that's got his program rolling really well. He brought us an awfully good group, and I'll let Wyatt break them down for you.
All righty, just want to start off with thanking Justin for having us back again. This is an event that we look forward to every year, and every year we try to bring a set better than the one that we brought last year, and I think this year we certainly succeeded with that. I'll start off by talking the target butted male there. All 4 of our pigs that we brought down here are out of our boar we call trick play. That would be a tricked out no moss timber that we bought from Steve Tollett up in Oklahoma early this last spring. And he won a few jackpot shows down here as a boar before they decided whether or not they were going to cut him. And we're very fortunate that they didn't, because he's been a really huge part of our program here this summer. And the dam side of that 13-3, tag number 88, would be a Breaking Rules Visionary. Real young sow at our place, with this being her second litter, but one that we are very excited to keep rolling and see what she can do. The litter that she had here this summer, top to bottom, is one of the deepest that we started here so far. The belted male there, which would be tag number 89, 19-3. Once again, out of our tricked out son at our place. Dam side on him would be one of our older sows around the farm. She would be a best kept secret visionary. Really, really good sow. We have a littermate sister to her as well, and both of them have lasted around our place, which doesn't happen very commonly. We try to recycle through sows just to keep up.
Study these guys, folks. This black-headed one is about as good built as you can make one. His angles are where they need to be. He's still wide-chested. And this guy has got a really late maturing look. He's still really robust up high, get a big upper rib. That's an awfully nice pair. Appreciate Wyatt setting this set back. And this pig just kind of scratched himself up as he got here. That is a very, very nice pig.
Alrighty, these two, like I mentioned before, are also out of our trick play bore. They'd be litter mate, 10 litters. The gilt would be tag number 87, I believe, and the male hog is 86. This gilt was one that we pulled out of our keeper pen of our gilts at home. We haven't offered any gilts for sale this fall so far, so when we knew we wanted to bring a special female down here, and yeah, she was right at the top of the list for ones that we wanted to bring down here. The male hog is extremely green and immature in his body and condition, and overall just mass, and but really, really sound, flexible, athletic, really good looking up front. Their mother would be a hands to yourself on a Blurred Vision 17 sow. That Blurred Vision 17 grandma would be right up there with one of the best sows that we've had the opportunity to work with at our place. But I really like this pair a lot, and that gilt is one that we certainly should have been keeping home, but we were committed to bringing a set down here better than last year.
Wyatt dug deep on this one. I can promise you. Just look at her design and look, guys. Look the way she hooks up at her top of her hip. I love how comfortable and how flexible she is. Her forerib to flank line is extremely good, and I love the slope and angulation to her shoulder and knee, and just how stout-skulled she is, but still immature and long-fronted. That's a very comfortable one. One that can be bred to all those jigged up, crippled boars that we see in the show pig industry. She'll make their hocks better. That one looks like a sow, and it looks like one that could be shown, and she's very attractive. And I really like that raw design boar. If you guys ever saw this boar they're out of, he had tree trunks for legs. Probably still, I mean, obviously still does, but that thing was massively heavy boned. And so, again, kind of like Jamie, what you see is what you get. These guys got lots of hogs, lots of good hogs. Appreciate it, Wyatt. Good job. Another longtime friend of mine, Mick Clark, grew up in the kind of the same region in Oklahoma. And if you know anything about Mick, he's just a good guy, good ag teacher in Morrison, Oklahoma, in the northeast part of the state. And he's always brings us a nice set. I'll let Mick visit about his group.
Thank you, Justin. I always appreciate the invite to come down here and just have a good time for a day or two. Guys, I brought 3 pigs here out here for you guys, and we'll start talking about the little belted bear there. He is out of the same sow as the ones we brought last year that everybody seemed to like so well. This guy, though, is a family tradition. The boar at Hoff Schulte, he's a tricked out son. back on that hero sow we had. Guys, this guy is super, super green, but you look at his bone and his foot, he's really thick and massive. Got a big old thick square head on him. Really, really put together and balanced out very well. He needs to go someplace where someone will take care of him. Like Justin said, I'm an ag teacher. I got a meats team going in Indianapolis. I've been in San Antonio and all this other stuff. They get feed, they get water. Sometimes both those go out. Anyway, he just needs to get a little TLC, and then I think he could really come on and bloom up for somebody and make a really, really nice bear. The whole litter out of that sow before went on and was showed places, and I got reports anywhere from grand champion to third overall, and even sold one there close to me, and it bit me in the butt a time or two. The two spot bears we have here, the 64 and the 65, they're a Van Wilder out of a High Hope gilt we've got. We'll talk about the 64. Guys, as we were showing spots last year, throughout the year, I saw that we need to get the spots a little taller at the shoulders, a little more extended and cleaned up, but still keep them square and up on their toes. And I think that this little guy here will do that for you. I like the length and extension he has to his front end. I love how he is on his toes. You know, them spots want to break down sometimes and dig that dew claw in and always catch going out that gate and get that bad look. The squareness I like about this guy, I think he's just going to, another one's just going to come on and get better and better with time. Really thick, really heavy muscled. Love the rib in that one. His brother over there, the 65 bear, and guys, I tag him in no order. I tag him in ear notch order so I don't screw up too bad. He's going to be a little bit more massive, and I think you guys can see that. He's a little more powerfully made from front to back. He's a little more opened up. I will say he took the ride better. He went to water a lot quicker when he got here than the other one did. He needs to probably be, once again, some TLC. He's been on baby pig feed. He needs to be jerked off and kind of slowed down. And I think he'll, as you look at him right there when the young man gets him up and drives him, boy, he has that long, clean neck to him. Really like that about that one. Lots of mass, a lot of thickness. Guys, if I can do anything to help you on these hogs, sure let me know. Guys, thank you, Justin. Thank you.
Once again, nice set from Mick. Another just really good guys, got really good pigs. Congratulations on another set again, Mick. Big Much Genetics here. Let Billy Bob visit about his set. He sent me some pictures. I got pretty excited. You know, you got some spots that are very unique, and they're the kind of versatile kind that can do lots of things for people. I'll let him break down the pedigrees on them.
First of all, thank you, Justin, for letting us come out and be part of this sale. These are going to be a Talk to Me out of a crossover gilt. This is our second litter. Our first litter is getting ready to go to State Fair right now. Really excited about them. She has raised that litter that's going to the State Fair this year. They've been champion spot wherever they've been. One 2 weeks ago was actually grand overall at the whole show. I'll talk about the little 18 first, the gilt. She's a picture image of her mama. Her mama was reserve at Heart of Texas in 21 that my daughter showed. She is a picture image of her. Big top, square hip, gonna have a really pretty neck on her, huge boned. And then the Barra pig, same way. I think he's gonna be really cool. Both of these will feed phenomenal. Their mom was feed her and forget about her. I think both of these are the same way. I know the purebred stuff has gone to weight now. Somebody has to win the light weights and the middle weights, and I think that girl can definitely do it. The boy pig, I think you can feed him for Houston. I know Austin is a black OPB, so he'd be going against Burks, but we had one down there 2 years ago that was the only spot in the dark OPB drive. We've had a lot of success here lately with the spot breed, and again, Justin, thanks for having us out, and I think have a lot of fun with these guys.
You bet. Awfully nice pair. You guys study this pair. I know they're a little smaller and a little younger, but that's some good square built, wide structured, big bone, hairy ones that should be very popular come tomorrow and in the spring as we show them. Okay, Brady Littlefield Livestock. I kept hearing about this blue hog, and he did not disappoint.
Well, first off, I want to thank Justin here for letting us come down here for the second year. Last year, real good experience, and this year we kind of put our heads together and brought a couple The first one here, our first barrow here, lot 66, old Rico here, as we call him at home. That's honestly, if that's not my favorite pig that we've ever put together, he's definitely way up on the list. I've liked this one a bunch all the way through the nursery. Wasn't sure quite what we were going to do with him, and then Doug Albright came by and told me I had to bring him to this sale. So he's probably got more care at home than even myself, if you will. I like that pig a bunch. His mom is probably our best up-and-coming sow. He is a back on top on a drop-back end game. That calico that he's out of at home had a really good run. Her show career there, ended up champion at our county. Love that pig. You talk about a blue pig that's crazy stout-skulled, crazy big forearm, big back, and a mobile hind leg. I like that one a bunch. Feel free to swing by, ask any questions on that thing. I like him a lot. We're going to go ahead and just run him out. The next two we're going to bring in here, we got a lot 68 and lot 67. First will be lot 67 is our spotted male hog. Justin called me last winter and told me that I need to use this times change boar. He'd seen a bunch of them out of that. We've had a real good run with our spot program. That boar pig right there is talk about one that's really good built, hairy. Feedability on that one's very good. Mama had a gilt. She's a loudmouth sow. She had a gilt last year that did a bunch of winning in Oklahoma on the jackpot circuit. Very excited about the future in that one. The red gilt here, lot 68, that's one that I actually own with Ruggles Genetics and Traddles Livestock there. That's the first gilt out of a sow that we bought that was reserve champion in the open show at World Pork Expo last year. She's a Barracuda. I like that one a bunch. I think that's easily the best red pig we've put together. Study that one. I was actually hesitant to bring her down here because we kind of wanted to leave her at home, but very good piglet. Just want to thank everyone again. We'll let Ruggles talk his next set.
I would like to thank Justin for the invite down. And first we got coming in here is Tag 94, 13-1. He'd be a last minute 44. His mom, this would be a second parity. She had a pair of littermate barrows this summer that got along very well. Jackpot circuit up in Michigan, and then won a class at MLE in the lights, and then went on to win a county, and then she herself in her show career, she was top 5 multiple times. And I think a lot of this barrow and the small success we've had on the limited numbers we've sent down to the south, very excited to kind of build on that. And I think this one could have a bright future. I think he should be targeted towards like Houston, that later show, and just kind of let him grow and do his thing. And then coming in next would be Brady's here in the blue shirt. He's on 22-5. That'd be tag 96. These both would be Barracuda Space Jams. Mom would have been reserve at Expo, and then high selling and owned with Littlefield Livestock and Traddles Livestock there. And the -5 barrow, like him quite a bit, shapely, some hip and hind leg in him, and think he's got a really good future ahead of him. And then that his mate barrow there, the stout rugged one, big forearm in him, and just one that looks like an easy feeding, good feeding red barrow that I think a lot of.
Thanks, Kyle. Awfully good group. That tar-headed hog was extremely impressive. And a pair of red ones that check the boxes awfully well. Big shapely tops, big ribs in them. Stout build kind of hogs that are square hipped. Good job, man. Thanks. Okay, now we got Roach Livestock. We'll let Mr. Roach talk about them.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Justin. This first barrow that comes in here is lot 93. The mom is a littermate sister to Air Force One that is at Tanner Winters. He is a chatter, king of the hill, never before, visionary. Those littermate sisters, we had 2 in the Grand Drive at Fort Worth at the Gilt Show. Got left standing on the dirt. One was reserve middleweight at San Angelo Crossbred Gilt Show. So yeah, they got a pretty good pedigree behind them. So this gilt coming in is out of a littermate, the Air Force One again. She only had, her mom was one of the ones that was in the Grand Drive at Fort Worth. Her mom was 5th overall at Angelo, which they don't do a 5th overall, but the judge told us her mom would have been 5th. She only had 3 gilts in that litter, releasing the other 2. She's the only one for sale. So we think she's got a cool look. She's built pretty good. We see her doing real good at Angelo or San Antonio. So kind of pick her and place her where you want. She'll feed good, pretty easy. Next coming in is lot 90 and 91. They're litter mates. They're dirty. They're a role play, shattered. We sold 2 half siblings to them in this sale last year. One was ninth in class at San Antonio. And then the year before, Mom raised a 2nd in class at San Antonio Gilt Show. She was painted up just like this one. I mean, she is a spitting image of that one that was 2nd at San Antonio Crossbreds. Sold her for $5,500, I believe, in the sale. These things are gonna be very, very cream. They're not gonna come till they're about 260. This one, he'll be ready earlier, but this gilt, she won't be ready till she's about 260. So if you want one, just take San Antone, San Angelo. That's the one you want. She'll be there in the end.
Thank you, sir. Another nice group from our consigners. Appreciate the Roach Livestock. Those hogs out of the south fed really well last year. That role play is getting it done. Very, very nice group. Andy Smith, Smith Farms. 38 and 41. Mr. Andy visited about him. A new consigner here, but come highly recommended. And so we visited about some things and really was excited when he unloaded them.
Well, thank you, Justin, for having me down here, and especially thanks to Cole Reeves for putting in a good word for me. But the, is that tag 38, the Poland? Tag 38 Poland, that is a Johnny Cash new design. Her mother would have won the Polands at Springfield last year in 2022 in the open show. Me and my partner, Lee Denzer, we bought her. We've got a litter mate coming into them. There's one of them that's a little bit greener, a little bit stouter, a little bit more correct. That's a tag 38 gilt. Overall, she's a little darker in her complexion. I think that one will feed real good. They had a half sister at the Illinois State Fair this year that wins her class and gets talk for the overall Poland, but gets left standing. The tag 41 Hampshire gilt, that is a Lingo blacklist. Would be a half sister to the reserve Hamp gilt at 2022 Illinois State Fair last year, and has been our foundation Hampshire gilt, sow, I guess, whatever you want to call her, for years coming. We think a lot of that one I think can feed all the way, and both of them gilts I think can feed all the way. So that's our first pair we got coming. Up next, we got tag 39 and 40. Tag 39 is the other Poland gilt we've got. She's a little louder mark than some probably would like for a Poland gilt, but one that's ultra dense, ultra stout, ultra good feed, and I think that one just rivals her litter mate quite a bit. Justin told me when I got invited down here I need to bring a pair of Poland gilts, and I thought those two fit the bill pretty well. Been a very good gilt, very good litter. We've got a pair of boar pigs that we're going to keep and feed on for a little while, so very excited about that litter and very excited where them things can end up. The tag 40 is a 61. She's an otter's pocket on a keep walking sow. That sow has laid in a pair of boar pigs that we've already got kept at our house. We've been breeding sows to, known as Like Me Now and 5 on 1. We've got a litter mate brother to her right now that we're kind of working on and seeing what he's going to do. But that litter was all the way deep. I don't think we've let one go to a feeder pig market, but we've held this one back for this sale especially, and we've had a lot of interest in her. I feel really good about that one. She's ultra stout, dense, big, robust rib, good looking with a good hip and hind leg in her, and she carries it all the way to the ground, big toe set. I really like that gilt for quite a bit what she offers. So thanks, Justin, for having us down here, and I'll hand it back over to Justin.
For a guy that didn't want to talk in the mic, described him pretty good. You guys may need to use this guy for judging some shows down here. Did a nice job describing him. Job, Andy. Job, Smitty. Burks, your time. Very nice pair of Polands and a very good hamster gilt. Mr. Price, ag science teacher, Stephenville, Texas. Moonlights as a hog breeder. New to the fold, but awfully good young man. He's trying hard. I'll let him visit about his genetics.
Thank you, Justin, for having us out to the sale. Some of these are a little loose. Got the wrong feed. Earlier had 3 bags and got them the wrong one, so they're a little loose. They'll be all good, ready to go for tomorrow. Lot 36 and 37 are their 14 litters. They're litter mates. I like them quite a bit. I've had some interest in them at the farm, but I definitely wanted to bring some good ones here to Perrin Bred for the banner, so kind of had them reserved for that deal. They're a little bit greener, just a little bit in their makeup, but I think their design and build is good. We don't have the facility to get them bloomed up as much as maybe some others, but we think feet and legs go the right way, and they're backed up by some good genetics. So they would be these Durots would be Disruptions, Jim Browns. Their mom would have been one that Lauren Brashear out of the McCamey crew showed a few years ago and was a 13-time Champa Reserve champion or Champa Reserve Duroc at Jackpots. She was second at San Antonio and Angelo in her class, and then she was champion Duroc gilt at Johnson County, which is real tough, and then Reserve Duroc at Texas Nationals. So once again, those 2 Durocs are Disruption, Jim Browns, out of a sow that we bought from the McCamey and Brashear crew that did a real good job as a show gilt. Lot 35, she's kind of Poland March or darker Mart, but she's a pure spot. She's a mattress pad. Her mom would have been 5th overall spot gilt at San Angelo a couple years ago. We would have bought her. We liked her a bunch, and she's done a good job for us. There's been some mates out of this deal that have been real popular as well. Once again, she'd be a mattress pad. Her mom was 5th overall spot gilt at Angelo a couple years ago. And then the Durots would be Disruption, Jim Browns. Talk whole set too. Sure.
Okay, we have got Mr. Reeves here Lot 72 is a Dirty Gringo Crickets. She's not in yet, sorry. It's lot 73 and 74. Even though she is Poland marked, this 73 is a spotted Poland China. She's a spot. She's a Times Square spotless. So there's quite a bit of black in that pedigree. Times Square is the litter mate to the Reserve Grand at San Antonio last year. The Linder Bunch showed, and the board's there at Laird's. He's a Times Change son. The traditional spotted hog is a litter mate to her. Times Change spotless. You're talking about a pair of gilts that are very versatile. Love the design and look. This Poland marked one can go home and raise Polands. At a county show, she'll be a Poland. That's an awfully nice one. This spotted one's probably a little stouter ribbed at this point. One that's very, very competitive. Looks a lot like that Glender gilt in terms of her design and look there at San Antonio. Big stout hogs that have got some skull and some noggin. They still have bone and rib, and hogs that still have some lateness to their maturity. If you look at the angles of their bones and how flat they are, pretty versatile. Nice pair from Mr. Cole. Good job, Melissa. Dirty Gringo gilt coming next is lot 72, and she looks bigger in her picture than she is in real life. One of these that can be shown as a white exotic Yorkshire type gilt at county shows and jackpot shows, but just a super attractive gilt that maybe just a little bit greener than some of the group. But one that Dirty Gringo deal has been very good. Back on the cricket sow, and if you know anything about crickets, that board's a generator in terms of making very good sows. The Heimer hog did a really good job for lots of people in terms of making some white exotic hogs and some also those blue mamas that are awfully good out of crickets. Study that one's line. She's extra tall fronted, really immature in her look. Has a very good pattern and balance. Good job, Reeves crew, Reeves and Smythe. Because my buddies, RB2 Show Pigs, I had the opportunity to go down there last Friday. I was in their neck of the woods and had a chance to visit with Robert and Bobby and Smiley, and we just widgeted about the hogs, and had a good visit as always. And I got to know these guys, and I was living in the Kerrville area, and they're just the salt of the earth kind of people, and they raise some dang good red ones. I'm gonna let them visit about these 26s. I drooled for a while until we figured out what we wanted to bring, and I'll let Mr. Ryan. Good to see you, Ryan. He probably just rolled in here, so I'll let him visit about them.
Okay, again, it's a pleasure being here. 26s are out of a mama that we bought from Kimmy Show Pigs as a show gilt. She was going to be a state fair gilt. She won several jackpots that summer, and then had an injury, so never made it to the state fair, but became a pretty good sow. I think there was 14 of those. This would be her first parity. These things will be whip and spur, so pedigree would be whip and spur, Kobe, my professor, or the professor, sorry. Birth date on those are going to be around the 20th of July. Justin and I went through these things, and it took us, 3 hours? Litter was extremely deep from top to bottom. Brought you the -7 and the -6. I believe the the 15 is the -7. Yes, and the 16 is a -6. Their mama was extremely big backed, hairy. We bred them whip and spur. She was a little bit taller on frame size. We kind of sized her down with that. Everything worked great. They're going to have that ginormous back. They're going to be big old hairy leg, just like that mama was. The racehorse had just left the ring. We're working on getting her back. Okay, so she'd be She'd be a 21 litter. She'd be a 21 litter boar that we raised at the house. We call him Boneyard. He is a drop zone train station. So that mama would have been 6th overall at the Texas Elite in 22. We paid $6,000 for her. LJ Young, he's the one that raised that mama. So that's a mama or Boneyard. So the grandmother to this one would have been champion in 2019 at the Texas Elite. Last year we sold a Barra here. I believe it was for like $1,750. A guy in Kerrville bought him online through here, and then wound up was champion in Kerrville last year. That would have been a Gremlin on the chosen one. So this would be a litter mate to that Barra we sold here. Those 21s are super cool looking, really extended, tall fronted. They're going to be big back just like mama. That boar, Justin saw him at the house, extremely tall fronted and just geek necked. So this girl, I think, is going to be a force when you go into those breeding shows, especially down like San Antonio and I mean, even if you want to go to Houston.
This was my pick. This is my pick of the Gilts at the Balzer Ranch there last weekend, and she is even matured better. I love those pair of 26s when I was there. I said, we got to dig a Gilt out, and he graciously let me pick this one. And those mid-range Gilts, he's got some younger ones. He had some older ones. This is the one I like the best. Study this one's feet and legs. I promise you, feet and leg soundness and structure is built in these hogs at this operation. They're going to bring 3 more later, but they brought 3 to just maintain some things. Next, we have Mr. Lange, Jacob Lange, ag teacher here, friend of our families. The 61 is the Duroc Gilt, is the Battleground at Crossroads, back on the green bottle, Sal. Green bottles deal with it, Sal. The mother slipped it, never got shown, but it was one that was awfully good. Littermate's sister was the reserve Duroc at Angelo, and 2 brothers placed in the top 5 at San Antonio. Really a big rib, rugged, stout one. They got a lot of neat things, and I love the extra body dimension and shape and dimension that thing has all the way through. That's an awfully nice one. Get this microphone. Here we go. Blue Gilt is one that's very impressive. In terms of design and look, the Owagi blue color is awfully popular. That one has a neat look, still really heavy bone. Got a very, very attractive shape to her head. And look at her behind her blade, and just so shapely and bold and round. It's an awfully nice Gilt. She's a picture of this on a budding blue sow. Mother was 4th overall light cross at Kerrville last year. Don't turn very loose, very many females like this one, but he does, have to pay the bills and some things, and so the kiddos jackpot Gilts gets offered here tonight. Thanks to Mr. Lange and the parent crew for all they've done. It's just a pleasure to work with great people like this, and hats off to you guys for everything you guys do and support our sale. McGrew's show pigs are next. Let Jordan visit about this set. As always, they bring a good, easy feeding set of hogs that have got a good look and design. Hogs that just always feed. Very, very predictable.
Well, thanks, Justin. I'm going to go ahead and start with this lot number 21 Barra right here. This Barra is a picture of this on a Money Move sow. That Money Move sow had a $10,000 crossbred boar down at Louisville this past year. That Xander Ivy purchased from us as a baby pig and went on down to Louisville, won Class 2, and then brings $10,000. The Gilt here in the center of the ring, lot number 22. This Gilt is, I'm drawing a blank on our top side, but the bottom side is a Goosebump sow. That Goosebump sow would have won her class there in Illinois there a couple years ago. Another littermate bearer to the mother of this gilt wins her class down there in Iowa. I like this gilt an awful lot just in terms of her balance, her proportions, and her hip and hind leg is very, very good. Yeah, the gilt's a turning tricks, goosebumps. Out here next, we bring you two landrace gilts. Lot 24 is this big gilt here in the center. She's an early July gilt. She's a Dr. Strange. The bottom side of the sow is a timeout, and that's a first litter gilt. A sow that I think is exceptional in terms of stoutness of feature. This gilt, just in terms of her levelness of tops, is extremely good. Her hip and hind leg is very good. Many gilts that we typically have some success with are built very, very similar to this gilt. Lot number 23 gilt, she is 3 weeks younger than that early July gilt. Gilt that I think is very, very good in terms of her feet and legs. And her pedigree reads Sneak Peek. And the bottom side is a Timing's Right sow. And the Grand Dam is our old Jazz sow. And if you follow our program at all, that Jazz sow is in any pedigree of any boar that we have put in stud. So again, I think a very, very nice pair of gilts. You can buy them like you like them. And thank you again, Justin.
Thanks, guys. Always bring a nice set. A very foundation type landrace gilt in this ring. The younger gilt is awfully attractive as well, and a pair of real nice crossbreds. They always bring a good set. We always appreciate their friendship. County Line Livestock, Nick Bangert and Bred and the crew came down, and they sent me some pictures early on. It's very, very impressive. Just a massive pair of that I'm going to start with. I'll let Mr. Nick visit about it.
First off, just want to say thanks to Justin for having us down. It's always a pleasure and a good time down here. I'll go ahead and start off and talk about the 36 litter gilt. That one's a dare to compare on the Trade Secret. That Trade Secret sow is kind of probably the backbone of our sow herd. We've offered one male out of that litter, and this is the only female we're offering. She recently just sired that dam just raised the Reserve Grand Market Hog at Iowa in the 4-H show, and the Reserve Cross Breeding Gilt at Iowa in the 4-H show. We like this whole litter a bunch as a whole. We think this gilt offers a lot of quality. Probably a very big mistake for letting her go. The male is a 38-6. That's a close call on the push. Close call, that would be a roll call son. That's at Drake Hooks. We used him on a couple sows, and those hogs all are consistent. They've got some heaviness of structure, some feature, some balance. We're big fans of that boar and what he's done for our program here. We think a lot of the pair that we brought, there's 2 mates, there's one more coming out yet next. But so that's a close call, the push, and then on the bottom side of that is the Trade Secret sow that just raised them ones at Iowa. But we're big fans of this pair, and then the next 2 that are coming in. So the other male out here is the other close call on the push. Another male that we think has a lot of value in terms of just the stoutness of feature and bone work, and still having a very good hip and hind leg. We're probably nuts for not keeping one of them as a boar prospect, but when we talked to Justin and I told him I wanted to make sure we brought our best down here, they definitely represent the best types of males we've let go off the farm. The gilt, that's a 43 litter. She is a to the extreme on a no guts, no glory. We get that sow by her as a baby pig from Joe Eggers. She gets hurt, never gets shown, but a gilt that as a sow has laid down and produced hogs that have all had some feedability and some balance and some structure. I think this one definitely represents that, with maybe just a shot more feature up front, and still with that kind of head and neck, still has some look and design. Thanks again to Justin, and look forward to tomorrow.
You bet. Thanks, Nick. A great set again, and I just really appreciate them offering their best and setting them back, and just an awfully powerful four to evaluate. Mr. Triggs, Jonathan Triggs, has brought in a really nice pair of Chesters in a spot entry. New entry, a new customer here, a consigner, but really happy to have him. We had a good chance to visit today. He always is known for being one that always has competitive hogs. I believe he had champion in San Antonio last year, a guy that the last name is very conducive to success. Thanks for bringing a good set here.
Thanks for having us down, Justin. I'll run the Chesters out first. So Chester Guild 85-3, tag 29. Chester Male 85-9, tag 31. So a pair of litter mates here. Pedigree would be Delta, Vito, Gotcha Covered. So this would be a gilt litter. Actually, the spot will be a gilt litter as well, but this gilt would have been Reserve Chester, Northwest District in Oklahoma in 22. And then the Grand Dam would be the 2-1 sow. That's been on a very impressive run for us. So she would be, her and her gilt daughters would be responsible for the champion bear at San Antonio this spring, the champion Chester bear at OYE in 22. They've had 4 or 5 barras go in the top 5 overall at OYE, and then I think she's had 8 Chester breed barras and gilts that have been champion reserve in Midwest State Fairs up north. I think a very good pair. I think there's differences between them. I think on the gilt side, that one's so just busted open and it has so much capacity and mass, but yet I think her skeleton is still very, very good and still has a little extra advantage in terms of look up front. And then the Chester Male, I think maybe that one isn't just the biggest in terms of his foot size. You study that one, but for a Chester hog to attach his neck into his blade that well and still have a flexible hind leg that stays within his skeleton, I think is very, very neat. I think those two hogs are just read to be very high quality and just have a ceiling and have a sow pedigree back behind them that are going to allow them to feed and find you success later on this show season.
Can't argue with the success winning San Antonio and OYE, and then those two of the tougher Chester Bear shows in the country. But now let's focus on this spotted creature.
All right, guys, spotted male 82-6. Like I said, another gilt litter. So this one's pedigree reads Bodyguard, Amplify, Amazing Grace. The sow was High Point spot gilt on the Iowa circuit in 2022. Grand Dam was second in class at both San Antonio and San Angelo. Sierra Lackey would have showed her in 20 or 21, and then we tied this pedigree back a little bit. So the Great Grand Dam would be a litter mate to Bodyguard, who's the sire. I think Bodyguard's had 7 spot breed barras and gilts that have been champion reserve up north for us. He was a class winner at Expo in 18. Bobby Liston down in Oklahoma purchased him, used him pretty hard for 2 seasons, and then we got him back and have been using him for a long, long time and had a great amount of success. And then that Grand Dam would be a sow we call Bel Air. She was a 5-time grand overall gilt and a 15-time breed champion on the Missouri circuit in 2018. She was a litter mate to Bodyguard, litter mate to the High Point spot barrow on Wisconsin circuit the same year. But guys, this one's, I'm very, very high on this spotted male. I think one that has that big of a feature and that big a forearm and legs, but still stays flexible. I mean, he's got added extension. He's good about his neck, and yet that one's cage is very, very big and robust. I think that's going to be one of the better ones that we've probably sold in quite some time. And just to mention, I mean, for how much everybody likes hair, I think that one's sporting a bunch of shag as well. And I think a very high quality animal that I'm very, very excited to see how he progresses through the show season.
Thank you, sir. Awfully nice trio. Very, very impressive. Nick Summers is going to be visiting with you about Next Step Genetics. Him and his partners put a really nice set of sow herd together, and a nice set of sows to have a very strong sow herd. And he was telling me about this pig early on in the sow and the litter, and I'll let him kind of break down the sow he's out of, and then Game of Thrones. But tell you a little about them. But another new consigner, but a guy that I've got to know the last year, and just a super good fella and a good family, and really raising some nice hogs there in Indiana.
All right, Justin, thank you very much for letting us come down. And when he mentioned that we'd be able to come down here, we had the opportunity to show this gilt. Boston Butler drove her at Tulsa in 21, and we were fortunate enough to be Supreme Gilt with her. So we brought her back home, and this is the kind of pig we were trying to be able to generate out of her. So we took her to Game of Thrones, and she actually came from Colson. So she's a blindside, no boss, best man. And this guy, when he hit the ground the day he was born, he had that much feature, forearm and back at a week old. And he really hasn't looked back. And then the longer we've had him on feed and we've been messing with him, his structure, how tight ties together, coming and going on both ends with a loose hip and hind leg. He reaches and goes off of both ends. He's one I think you can feed for a really long time, and he's going to stay together with a monster top, monster hip. Next two we're going to bring up a York gilt and a Hamp gilt. And I got another good friend that we partnered with, Brandon Burr. He lives down in Tennessee, used to live up by us in northern Indiana, and he and I have really been passionate about raising Hampshires over as my boys have been showing through 4-H. And that little Hamp gilt, tag number 34, she goes back to a pair of gilts we bought off Krager's. They were Marvel, no debate. So they ended up going down Tennessee State Fair. They two-holed it. So actually, this gilt's mom was reserved only to her sister. She has a bear actually that's still out in the showing right now. He was Grand Bear at 217 pounds, Wabash County, Indiana. I mean, that little gilt has got a lot of feed, a lot of grow to her. We took her to Danner's. Whenever Danner used How You Doing back on her. So just keep on feeding her. She's trucking. For those of you that are kind of curious, we keep everything kind of on some nursery decks, tri-deck flooring. She's got a really good running gear and really has only been off that deck for 4 days. The York gilt is one that actually goes back to a leaps and bounds sow that came from Rotobaws. She was the champion York gilt at the Tennessee State Fair. We've actually had a good run with 2 generations back on that. So we actually ran a dynamic sow that was reserve. Her mom was a reserve York at the Tennessee State Fair in 3rd overall. Then we ended up taking this gilt's mom to we had a litter mate to her that we had on feed down there with a young lady that was showing for you, Luke Lay. They ended up driving her down to Perry, and she was champion Division I, 5th overall in that York deal down there. We did end up letting Luke maintain ownership of her, but this is out of the mate, and this one here, her hip and hind leg from day one has been able to just plant and go. She's square coming and going, tall at the point of her shoulder with a big old hip, cool front end. She'll feed with ease. So let me know if you have any questions.
Anybody else, guys? I think that's it. We use Taylor Fort for our broadcast. He's the best in the business. There's no comparison. This guy is an innovator and a changer of this game. We're fortunate to get him at San Antonio. We appreciate Taylor coming with us as well. She has been very influential in the San Antonio process as well, and they just do a great job. If you guys are needing somebody to film any kind of livestock event, just go to the best. We appreciate Taylor taking his time to come down here. We will have tomorrow we'll have a fish fry at 3, and we will do another, it's not an online preview, but we'll do a live preview at 4 o'clock. We'll sell them at 6. And so if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. We will have a online bidding format. The link will be listed on our Facebook page, on the Bred for the Banner Facebook page. But if you have a pin with you out there in the World Wide Web, it's auctions.dorpernation.com. Go in there and register for a buyer's number, and we'll have our Willoughby representative here. We will have a live bidding option we will be putting that sale order together, and we'll have a catalog by noon, at least by noon tomorrow, if not before. And we'll have it all put together, and you can view the lots as they sell. And so you can register for our buyer's number. There is an option to pay with a credit card. If you're going to buy one online, you do need to have your transportation lined up. Don't call me after you bought the pig. We need to have that animal transportation lined up. They'll ask you that in those questions. If we can assist in anything, I don't know that we have people going to the Kerrville area. We have people going, potentially some West Texas people, some Oklahoma people, obviously people in this area. But we appreciate everybody. Extremely high quality. I really work hard, try to put in the best kind of people we have. I sort the people first and the pigs, and I'll argue with anybody. There's a set of male belted hogs back there. There's a set of breed hogs all the way through bears and gilts that will run with anybody. And so if you saw the preview to understand what I say, awfully good set of pigs. Appreciate everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.